It's good to shine away. 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 Whoa.
What's up YouTube? Today we're playing through the classic Call of Duty campaign. Now I personally haven't played through this in a very long time. In fact, the last time I did play through this was 2008 when it was released on the Xbox 360. So it's almost 15 years ago. Normally I find basic training missions a waste of time and an inconvenience, but this was a harsh reminder of how brutal the early Call of Duties were. Firstly, my muscle memory would always override my actual memory when it came to remembering there is no sprint, something I just couldn't shake. And secondly, the button mapping, it just didn't work for me at all. First up was Pathfinder, and right away I found myself struggling with the controls and my muscle memory, just looking for options I didn't have. And then secondly, the graphics, I really didn't know what I was looking for or even looking at on some levels. As you'll see later, I actually even questioned if the graphics had loaded. Not too far into Pathfinder, I started to question if I needed to run through the game on Recruit, just to get a feel for the controls a bit quicker. However, I decided to just brute force it. And as you'll notice, I didn't really utilise much other than my guns throughout the playthrough. Along with fighting the muscle memory and the early 2000s state-of-the-art graphics, Pathfinder also introduced the first challenge: game saves. They're so far apart on some levels, and on a couple of occasions I ended up getting some really bad save points, so bad I'd die as soon as the game had reloaded, 7 or 8 times out of 10. So on these ones, I just restarted for level. Oh, and to trigger the save points, you have to have at least 33% health for the save to trigger. And no, your health does not regenerate. After making quick work of the first couple of levels, I soon found myself being driven around the French countryside by Sergeant Moody. As much as I appreciate the chauffeured experience, I would have liked to try my hand at the wheel. That aside, was a fun little mission. Not long after my drive through the countryside, I found myself raiding the chateau and being introduced to one of the franchise's marquee characters, none other than Captain Price. Shortly after freeing Price, we paid a small visit to a prisoner of war camp to complete the US campaign. Up next is the start of the British campaign and what felt like a massive power creep from the enemy. As I found myself bunny hopping and crawling across the bridge, it became very apparent just how much I missed sprinting and my smoke grenades. The mass openness of the bridge, coupled with the questionable actions, or lack of, from friendlies, made this more tedious than it needed to be. And at the end, it just felt like a massive RNG grind, and it didn't really feel that rewarding. As I said earlier, it's been around about 15 years since I played the campaign, but I don't ever remember that mission being so fucking annoying. After a stressful night of defending the bridge, we were greeted by a wave of soldiers and tanks for 5 minutes. This was fairly straightforward. I just held down the bunker, reloaded on RPGs and took out the tanks when needed. Nothing too adventurous here, fairly straightforward. So, right away you probably noticed something that's wrong here. Now, it took me a little while to notice this, because all I could remember was it was a very dark level until we got into the dam. However, the graphics hadn't actually loaded, which was something I'd never experienced before. So all I did was just close the game, reload it, and then was able to continue storming the dam. So after making our way back through the dam up to meet Captain Price, we begin what is the worst level of the franchise. So let me explain. You're in the back of a truck, and all you have to do is fire your RPGs and shoot your LMG. So why is this so bad? You can't move, you can't go prone, one of the enemies is just fucking immune to bullets, you have almost no cover at all. Oh, and there's also a number of enemies that can freely shoot you before you fucking see them. This level sucks. I had actually forgotten how shit this level was. Honestly, I think this is why I've only played through this game a total of 3 times now in 21 years. I hate this level. I fucking hate anything in the back of a car that does not let you move or go prone. So after making it down to the airfield and taking down some planes, which is pretty cool, we're going to sabotage the turrets. So this was a little bit disappointing. Maybe it wasn't at the time, it's more because of like missions like All Geared Up since, but it starts as a stealth mission and then it goes gun blazing, and I think had they just kept it stealth, this level would have been the best one on the game. It is pretty straightforward, just plant some explosives, pick up documents, jump back on a boat, job done. Up next, the Soviet campaign. So we start by coming off a boat onto Stalingrad riverbank, and all we're really going to do is just rely on dodging the bullets from the MGs until we get a gun. Now, I can't tell you if you get one or if I mess this up, I just can't remember. However, being cannon fodder for the sniper was actually pretty cool. So we're going into Red Square, still weaponless. I'm pretty certain this is supposed to happen. We're gonna get a gun right at the start anyway, and then we're just gonna power through Red Square and the train station as well as the sewers till we get to Pavlov's house. So this was my favorite level of the game. This is a really cool level. It starts with a 1v6 sniper rifle showdown, and then you clear the house, and then you defend it from smaller waves, a bit like earlier. Now during this level I had some really unlucky save points. On the first one, firstly I got to defending the house with 33% health, so I thought I'd just restart the level. I then got on the second save a really shitty bunch of grenades, and after maybe 5 minutes of trying to get out of the way of them, it just wasn't possible. So after a third restart, we got through it. But after the hassle of the previous 2 attempts, I just cheesed the back room to make up for lost time. So after Pavlov's house, we went to the tank factory, and then we actually got in the tank, which was really good fun. We had a couple of tank battles, blow some motherfuckers up. Yeah, that was really good fun. Really enjoyed that one. Fairly straightforward. There's not really much you can do wrong here. It's like I say, you can only go A to B in a tank. Yeah, good fun. So after completing the Soviet campaign, we're on to the final stretch, the Allied campaign. We flew through the first mission. It wasn't much of a struggle, to be honest. It's fairly straightforward. Then we're going to go on to the V2 rocket site. Sadly, we did not fly through this. I had an okay save, so I didn't really want to start the game again, but I was relying on the MG not tagging me. The most frustrating part of this mission was the number of times I had cleared somewhere, only for an enemy to then come out and shoot me in the back, whilst the one friendly you are with is propped up against the wall, watching the enemy gun me down. After a number of tries of literally just trying to kill every enemy in there and hope I didn't get shot in the back. It got to the point where I just had to go solo. After going Rambo in the bunkers, the grind had paid off and we were through to Berlin. Soviet war machine rolls into Berlin. Every soldier knew the greatest glory would be reserved for the soldiers that either found Hitler or were able to raise the Soviet flag over the Reichstag. So that said, you know we're going to raise the flag, but before we can do that, we just need to dismantle some 88 flat cannons and a small little panzer. And on a side note, I think we will revisit this mission in World at War. And with that, that's the first game complete. This was my first proper video outside of TikTok. Throughout the editing process, I hit a number of brick walls, and I've since discovered a number of new ways to shoot these videos. So with that in mind, anything you think I should have done better, differently, or even not at all, just let me know in the comments below, and we'll be back soon with Call of Duty 2.